so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen. So let me also introduce myself. My name's Bryson Mwambi, Chair Water Committee in this County Assembly, and also MCA Sagala Ward. So just briefly, can we confirm whether the person before us is the correct nominee? Can you confirm?
Yes, I confirm. I'm the right nominee. My name is Reuben Mwashuke Kitololo.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kitololo. So briefly, I ask our Sergeant at Arms to conduct an oath to the nominee.
I, Reuben Mwashuke Kitololo, do hereby swear to testify on all matters in question and tell the committee the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. So welcome again, Mr. Kitololo Reuben. Just be composed. We are not enemies, we are just friends. So I'll go to our questions, and I'll start with the first question. Tell us about yourself, specifically on your professional experience as it relates your nomination. Tell us about yourself, specifically on your professional experience as it relates your nomination to this docket.
Let me say that I started my professional career in 1989 when I joined Egerton University to do a diploma in agricultural engineering. And in the engineering course, I did soil and water engineering and farm power and machinery. I graduated in 93 with distinction. Then from there, I worked with World Neighbors. I was a community organizer and training coordinator. It was an integrated project. But one of the projects that I did in water was the Ndome Harambe water project. I did it at that time, and it is still operational up to now. Then from there, in 1995-97, I joined Care International. I did an employment creation for the youth project. Then I went to Plan International in 1998. For the first 3 years, up to 2021, I was within Taita Taveta. I was in a place called Mugange, in Mugange, Mwanda Ward. Well, the achievements that I did there is I facilitated the establishment of water project called Ndolwa Water Project. I also helped families to acquire the portable tanks for roof catchment. And I also facilitated communities to come up with ventilated, improved latrines. Then from there, I was transferred to Kilifi. In Kilifi, there are projects that I did. I facilitated the establishment of about 20 water projects. And in these projects, I must say that my achievements, if I might narrate them, I may narrate them. My achievements were that those are the 20, I actually established 21 water projects, and even for the 5 that failed because of misappropriation, we were able to hand them over to Kilifi and Marekani Water and Sewerage Company. And then as far as sanitation is concerned, I was able to facilitate 61 communities to attain open defecation-free status. That is, they are not able to defecate in the bush. I did this with partnership with Department of Public Works, Public Health, and we did this through an approach called community-led total sanitation. We also assisted the schools to achieve this status by putting up the VIP latrines and hand washing tools. And then as far as budgets are concerned, we had a problem with the budget because the budget from plan was not able to take up for those activities. So what we did,
Yeah, maybe,
we wrote project proposals.
Yeah, that one is going to be covered in other questions.
Okay.
Let me just say, maybe if I ask you now, what are you currently doing day to day?
Actually, I had a problem of my back, actually because of motorbike riding. So I resigned in 2018 and I'm now engaged in business. I have a farm. I'm keeping a few cows in Sagala, Zongwani, and I'm also breeding sheep and goats in Kasigao.
So that is what you are doing currently?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Maybe another question. What aspects of water and sanitation are devolved? What aspects of water and sanitation are devolved function? What aspects of water and sanitation are devolved?
Well, let me say that there are things that are devolved because as far as water is concerned, let me say that as far as water is concerned, it is actually our responsibility to have clean and secure environment. Access to clean and safe water is a human right. This can be provided at our homes by our water service provider like Tavevo, and it can even be provided by the water committees that we have in our places. The issue of sanitation is also devolved, and these are captured in Articles 43 and 21 in the Constitution. But more so, as citizens, we've got a responsibility. Our responsibility is to conserve, protect, and manage the water resources, and more so to regulate the tariffs. There are institutions that are meant to regulate the tariffs in water and sewerage services.
Okay, thank you, Bwana Kitololo. Let me now invite Honorable Kinyili to ask also some questions. Welcome, Honorable Kinyili.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Anthony Kinyili, MCA Chalawad, and also Vice Chair, Water and Sanitation. Bwana Kitololo, what experience do you have in the following areas? 1, water reticulation. 2, sanitation systems. 3, stormwater management. And 4, irrigation. May I repeat?
Yes.
What experience do you have in the following areas? 1, water reticulation. 2, sanitation systems. 3, stormwater management. And 4, irrigation.
Well, let me say that I've got a lot of experience, as I've said. As far as water reticulation is concerned, there are projects that are facilitated in their establishment. One of them, I said, is the Ndome Arambe Water Project, and the other one, that is in Ngolia Ward, and the other one is the Ndolo Water Project in Muhange Mwanda Ward. In Kilifi, I've also facilitated the establishment of 60 water projects. And let me say that as far as these water projects are concerned, I worked closely with the Ministry of the Department of Water. As far as sanitation is concerned, in Cliffy, I facilitated communities to become open, to stop open defecation. And these communities were about 60 villages. And as far as the town sanitation is concerned, there are some dump sites and disposal sites, and where they disposed the waste from the septic tanks. They are very much, they are giving an ugly sight to people passing around, so we relocated them. And even as far as electric wastes are concerned, they are very hazardous. We actually made sure that they are separated from the normal wastes so that the dealers or the manufacturers can come and pick them. Because if they enter into our water stream, they have a havoc to human beings, wildlife, and even trees. And even when you have them exposed to heat, then they produce dioxides. And these dioxides, when inhaled by people, they can cause diseases like cancer and other irritating diseases. As far as the storm water management are concerned, I think when I was working with World Neighbors, because there was a food security project, we were involved in laying terraces. So in areas where we had steep slopes, we laid terraces. But in areas where we had the gradient above 40%, we advised farmers actually to grow trees so that they could take care of their erosion. And as far as irrigation is concerned, I facilitated an irrigation project in Mwanga Davide and Mwanganyika in between that was taking water to those villages. I think that is what I can say.
Okay, thank you, Bwana Kitololo. Let's go to Honorable Sariki. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Kitololo. My name is Rose Sariki, nominated MCA, and I'm a member of Water Committee, and I have one question for you. One of the reasons as to why Tavevo is not in a position to meet its financial obligation is water spillage from its pipe networks. What would you advise as a lasting solution for the same?
Let me say that as far as Tavevo is concerned, I had the issue of spillage, and they are losing water at about 39%. So the first thing I will do with Tavevo is a public institution, and the public must know that they have got a stake in it, because if it makes profits, then the profits can come back to them. So the first thing I'll do is public awareness in terms of participation. They should be able to understand that Tavevo is their own project. And if they see spills from whether tank, a burst, or they should be able to report, because this is their resource. So one thing I'll do is public participation, and public participation is actually a basic right and a fundamental principle of democracy. So this is the first thing I'll do in terms of, because in Tavevo, if I'm approved, I'll be an ex-official. So this is what I'll do. The second thing I'll do is I'll have a unit. I'll advise them to have a unit that is in charge of repairing the bursts and the leaks, either at night or during the daytime. And there will be somebody that should be receiving information about these leaks. That is what I'll do.
Let's go to Honorable Shingira for a question.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Kitololo.
Good afternoon to you.
My name is Rose Shingira. I'm a member of this committee. I'd like to ask, how is the county government of Taita Taveta, how is the county government of Taita Taveta going to raise revenue provision of water services?
Well, the county government of Taita Taveta will raise revenue in terms of sale of water. That is, they will have to sell water the way Tavevo is selling. Tavevo can also sell to other smaller service providers, but at a fee. Then, as far as Taita Taveta County is concerned, they can do a feasibility study and do boreholes. And this feasibility study, or rather an hydrological survey, will tell us where there is water and where there is no water. And we can have partners like Taita Taveta County, KWS, coming in to do this, and us to do this feasibility study. Then from there, we can drill boreholes. I'm sure even if we have boreholes at the park at their own cost, then there will not be this human-wildlife conflict.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
So the drill will make money and the water will make money.
Okay, thank you. So can we go to Honorable Matolo for a question?
Good afternoon, Mr. Kitololo.
Good afternoon to you.
My name is Isaac Matolo, MCA Matawad, and I'm a member to this committee. I have one question for you.
Yes.
Give this committee the relevance of your qualification to the position you are nominated to. I repeat, give this committee the relevance of your qualifications to the position you are nominated to.
Well, let me say that I've done a lot of courses as regards to water. I have done courses like in soil and water engineering. I've done courses in fluid mechanics. I've done courses in engineering survey. I've done courses in waste management. I've done courses in management, community management in dryland areas, because these are areas with very scarce resources in water. So I believe that I have done courses like in hydrology. I believe these are courses that will assist me to do this work.
Okay, thank you. Can we go to Honorable Kifuso?
My name is Newton Salim, MCA of Mwashuke. Allow me to ask you the following question. Kindly highlight the water situation in the following areas and solutions where applicable. You note them, then you answer at once. Number 1, Mwatate town and its environs. 2, Mwakitau. 3, Voi town. 4, Kishushe. 5, Taveta town and its environs.
Kindly repeat the areas.
Okay. I've said kindly highlight the water situation in the following areas and solutions where applicable. I've said Mwatate town and its environs. 2, Mwakitau. 3, Voi town. 4, Kishushe. 5, Taveta town and its environs.
Maybe through the chair, I will add Mombololo rural as one of the places. Kindly.
Kindly let me start with Taveta. At the moment, the water in Taveta seems to be to be at par with the population. But I must say, if we have to go to do something, then we have to expand the existing systems and build up the management capacities of the communities. That is one. The second thing is we can harvest or harness water from Lake Jipe and Lake Chala. But these are transboundary resources. We need to clarify issues of transboundary. Then this water can be pumped to high elevation areas like Lesisia and Salaita. Then from there, they can be pumped to those areas that are in high need of water, like areas like Kibalwa and Loro. That is one. Then the third thing is, as I said, you can do a feasibility study and exploit the issue of boreholes. That is one with Taveta. In Mbololo, we have, let's say in the Mbololo Hills, there is a big issue with the catchment areas. Most of the water comes from our catchments, and we have to take the responsibility of either conserving or protecting those environments. So once they are protected, and I say that the issue of global warming is also a big issue. We need to form a synergy between among all sectors, because it affects all the sectors. If you come to agriculture, people cannot be able to grow crops with global warming. If you come to issues like sectors like the industries cannot come up because there is absence of water. So it is for us to be able to get a synergy and even to know the right vegetation to plant in those catchment areas, then we will not be able to do anything. And even from us as leaders, we have to be a role model. Because if you are talking of climate setting, then you have got to raise awareness about global warming. The other thing is the VOI, and even, as I said, in Bololo, we've got to do a feasibility study even in the lowlands and do a feasibility study so that we can exploit the boreholes. The same applies to Mwatate town, but conservations like the Mwatate one, that is the Susu, and the Mwambirwa, they need some efforts. And I wish that we should be able also to collaborate with other sectors, as I have said, the environment sector, so that those people in those catchments, like in Mwambirwa, they can be facilitated to get carbon credit, so that as long as they are conserving the environment, they are also getting some livelihood. I think as far as Kishu is concerned, I think when I was in plan, we had a water project that was taking water from Kishu Dam from Kishenyi Dam down to Kishushe. But I think there is a problem as far as Kishenyi Dam is concerned. Kishenyi Dam, its catchment is Ngolia and areas to do with Mwakishimba and Sagasa. But the trees that were in those catchments, I think they were degraded, they were destroyed for the purpose of timber. And we need to ask ourselves, why are people cutting down trees for timber? It is because maybe they don't have alternative employment. How can these sectors come up with another source of livelihood? And even as far as agriculture is concerned, people are doing agriculture even in that dam. The laws in agriculture or in the acts in water, they say that once you are involved with agriculture in a riparian area, you should provide a buffer zone of about 30 meters. this is not the case. Because if you don't provide a buffer zone, then the chemicals that you use in agriculture, they'll go into that dam. I think this is what I'll do. As far as voice is concerned, I'll do community participation so that the water from Zima is, people are able to use it without leaks. And there are other ways that you also do. In terms of water use, you train people to use water sparingly because it is a scarce resource. So I think this is what I'll do briefly.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kitololo. Let me welcome our DS also to put across a question. Welcome, Bwana DS.
Thank you, Chairman. I think I donated my time to Honorable Malega.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Malega, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, our nominee.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
I am Joseph Kennedy Malega, MCA Motate. And in this docket, I'm the most member of County Assembly who is really affected with water. My question is to you. What is the general status of sanitation infrastructure per sub-county and the possible avenues and quick wins for improvement? What is the general status of sanitation infrastructure per sub-county and the possible avenues and quick wins for improvement? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, let me say, as far as communities are concerned, or the villages are concerned, the rural villages are concerned, in terms of access to toilets, then we are above 90%. But we have got a big issue as far as the primary schools are concerned. The primary schools, the sanitation is poor. And, you know, I'm saying it's poor because you are supposed to have, like for the boys and girls, you are supposed to have water in those schools. And also, because of menstrual hygiene, the ladies are more at a problem. Because if they have their periods, then they cannot be able to be in school because they are actually embarrassed. So I would say, maybe as far as sanitation in schools is concerned, what we shall do, or as I work with the others, what we shall do is, the first thing is to make sure that those schools, we can have a competition among all schools in Taita Taveta County. And the examiners, in the course of the year, they come impromptu, in that they are never told what date they are supposed to come. At the end of this, then schools, the best schools, can be awarded trophies. And if this is repeated annually, then the situation in schools will improve. The other thing is, we have got some communities like in Kasgau, they are still defecating in the bush. So the roadmap towards achieving open defecation-free status is actually community-led total sanitation. So the officers around there, I'll promote them to use that approach so that the villages acquire open free defecation status. Then the other thing is, as far as, I'll just give an example, as far as our dump sites are concerned, look at the dump site at Landi in Chakaleri. That dump site does not give us a good site. No, it gives us an ugly impression of Taita Taveta County. I advise that it should be relocated to a site where people are, not many people are around. People are just away. The same applies to the dry bed in Voi that is near the former railway station. You know, there is a lot of disposal of waste that is done there, and the place has been encroached by people. It should also be transferred to actually a good site, a suitable site. And this site should be manned. If there are people who want to use the treated manure or the manure that is dry, they can use it as, they can sign a memorandum of understanding with the county government and even make fertilizers, like we had the other day that Vihiga is making fertilizers out of the waste. Those also who want to use materials for recycling, reuse, they can take them up at this. This is what I have for the sanitation situation and status.
Okay.
And the
Thank you, Mr. Kitololo. Let me also ask another one. Kindly explain the role of your docket. Kindly explain the role of your docket as it relates to water sources. Kindly explain the role of your docket as it relates to water sources.
Well, as far as the water sources are concerned, we know we cannot achieve service provision if the water resource will dwindle or will minimize. So what we shall do is, for instance, we are the Tavevo is getting water from Zima Springs, but I've never had any efforts of trying to protect the source. I know it's a transboundary resource because Makueni County is because I actually Googled and found that even that source comes from Chuli Hills. If today we don't conserve that source, then we shall lose that water. The same applies to sources in the mountains, like in Sagala, in Mbololo, in Mwambirwa, in Kitobo. We should be able to conserve them because it is part of our rule.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Reuben. I urge you to be somewhat brief because
Okay.
you have only now 35 minutes to
Okay.
go. Yeah, just be brief. Maybe in a nutshell, can you explain a project cycle? What are the stages of a project cycle, of a water project, that is?
Well, a project cycle, first of all, we have the planning stage, whereby we involve the communities like in the CIDPs, so that they identify their problem and they say that this is a sort of a water project that we need. Then the second one is the project implementation. This is whereby we have to facilitate communities to know their roles and the roles of the county government. And then we implement the project. But as we implement, we monitor and we evaluate the project. This is to appraise, to see that it is being done as intended. Evaluation is an end-term process, but monitoring is a day-to-day activity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I call upon Honorable Kinyili to ask a question? Welcome.
Yes, Mr. Kitololo. May I go to my second question to you? Can you kindly highlight the role of Coast Water Services Board in relation to water services in Taita Taveta County? I repeat again. Kindly highlight the role of Coast Water Services Board in relation to water services in Taita Taveta County. And two, share the challenges between the relationship of Coast Water and Tavevo and your personal proposal and your proposal to settling them.
Well, as far as the Coast Water Service is concerned, and I must say they are the water providers to Tavevo. But as far as that service is concerned, there is normally a problem, like there is delay of payments, there is the issue that water from Coast Water Service is cut because of payments, and there is also a problem with the system, that it is old. Sometimes along the way we have breakages, and another problem that you normally have is they give priority to residents of Umasa more than residents of Taita Taveta County. So maybe the first thing is communication. Tavevo should be able to access their meter regularly to see what sort of payments they are supposed to pay to Coast Water Services. And maybe the other one is there are other problems, but I think the issue is to sit and discuss with them. But however, as far as the line becoming old, I think it's look for funds so that it can be repaired once and for all. I think that is what I have.
Okay, can we go to Honorable Kusania for a question? Welcome.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Sakina Kusania, a member of this committee. I have two questions for you. Number one, what is the relationship between your docket and the following docket? Agriculture and livestock, healthy and sanitation. Number two, what is the overlap between your docket and what of environment?
Kindly repeat your questions.
Number one, what is the relationship between your docket and the following docket? Agriculture and livestock, healthy and sanitation. Question number two, what is the overlap between your docket and what of environment?
That.
Okay, when we are talking about water, we are talking about water for domestic use, for livestock, for agriculture, for irrigation, and for other amenities. So when I'm talking about water, I'm talking about water for agriculture and livestock. When I'm talking about water, in fact, health and water, they are supposed to be related, because if you have water, then the people don't have good health. So it is an issue that the health services become better when you have got water as a health component. And as far as sanitation is concerned, if approved, I'll be the CCO in charge of water and sanitation. And as far as the environment is concerned, this is what I was talking about, climate change. We have to take care of the environment, because it is the environment that takes care of all the water resources. And when we're talking about the water resources, we are talking about plants, we are talking about the soil and other ingredients. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reuben. Shingira. Shingira is not around. Mohon, Majority Leader. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, nominee. My name is Anthony, member of this committee. I have the following questions for you. How will you handle a dispute between Tavevo and your directorate? How will you solve a dispute between Tavevo and your directorate? Second question, how will you resolve a dispute in Vimungu Kishushe, where a water project was undertaken without prior agreement with a landowner? How will you resolve a dispute in Vimungu Kishushe, where a water project was undertaken without a prior agreement with a landowner? Third question, what will be your view on Tavevo taking over water projects funded by the county government at no cost? What will be your view on Tavevo taking over water projects funded by the county government at no cost? Thank you, Chair.
Okay, let me first of all start with the one on Tavevo taking over community managed projects. Let me say that this is the sort of participation that I was talking about, that communities should not see Tavevo as an organization on its own. Let them see it as their own institution. And taking over water projects is for their own benefit. The essence here is to convince the communities that when this water service is taken by Tavevo, they will have efficient, affordable, and sustainable services. The issue about Kishushe and the landowners, where I think is the land has been taken over without their consent, I think this is an issue that should be solved with the people around, because you might not have the history of what happened. But I think if the leadership around from the village elders is put into place, then this issue can be solved. And the other one is about dispute between Tavevo and the directorate. Maybe if the dispute is between them and it is interests should be specified so that they don't conflict. And I believe as far as communication is concerned, on every time they meet, then they will not have these disputes. But I think we are there to serve those people in Tavevo. They are here to serve Tavevo without individual interest. And if it is on these interests, then they should be penalized. Thank you.
There's this, the last one. What would be your view on Tavevo taking over water projects funded by the county government at no cost?
And that is what I said. There will be no problem with Tavevo taking over these projects, because, there is nothing that is so much disheartening like you put in 5 million to have a water project. Then at the end of it all, this money, the infrastructure is squandered, the money from water is also squandered. So to me, I feel that it is a good idea if they are taken over by Tavevo, because service delivery will continue. Thank you.
Through. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Reuben.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the vetting is just coming to an end.
Thank you for the indulgence.
Yeah, so maybe other members we have around, if you have any question, welcome. Yeah. Honorable Solomon, welcome.
First of all, I want to congratulate you for being nominated. It was not easy because there were so many applicants, but you managed to be a nominee. So, congratulations. Secondly, Bwana Chair, allow me to give the candidate Pole for the accident he had. Because in an accident there are always two things: either you survive or you don't survive. So, Bwana Kitololo, Pole for that.
Thanks.
And you thank God you are here. What I want to ask you before I give you a question, we have a challenge. Mzima water is being consumed in Mombasa. And here in Voi, water is being rationed. You find either we get water on Tuesday and Fridays. But as you go to Mombasa, you find there are so many points where there are car washes, businesses. And also there are kitchen gardens activities. But you'll find Mzima springs or Mzima water comes from just behind here. But in Taita Taveta or mostly in Voi, the water is being rationed. And we have been crying for that. We have been making noise for that. And I'm very sure you are aware. Water is life. And if we get rationed, our lives get rationed, it's very unfortunate. Where water comes from, especially we Voi people. And I can see you have a very, very, very wide experience in water matters. What change are you going to bring to our people here in Taita Taveta and mostly in Voi, where they have been complaining, they have been crying for water being rationed, and yet water is being consumed in Mombasa? Because our people here in Taita Taveta, they want to see a change. In the previous governments, let me say they have failed. In the previous government officers or CCMs, they have totally failed. But now you are here, what hope are you giving us to have on you, Bwana Kitololo? Thank you, Bwana Chair.
I think the first thing I'll do is to sit in these forums and express this matter. Then, maybe something that I also forgot, sometimes we are out of this water, like the Mzima one, because the water is cut because of the high costs of electricity. And even in the bowls that sometimes you might have at homes, we are having a problem with power. The cost of power has gone up. But people should explore the use of solar pumps, so that if we have electricity, maybe we have it standby. But we use solar in drilling, in water, getting water from bowls, and even in taking water uphill. I think that will help. And I will also support this idea of Mzima 2, so that when it comes, it does not go along that line where the previous one passed through. It goes through other rural areas like Ngolia, like Shushe, Mwatate, not Mwatate, but Mwakitau, Mwatate, that way. I think that will be of much help.
I think he has answered. Another one, member? Honorable Anissa, welcome.
I only have a very brief and pertinent issue I would wish our incoming CEO, God willing, to help us understand. Taita Taveta normally pays water balkanization to Coastal Water Board. We have had cases of unaccounted for water. It has been a real impediment for water management, costs that cannot be substantiated, and there's no way to recover them. Maybe ndugu yangu, could you kindly help me understand what ways and means will you put in place to make sure each and every cubic meter of water that is going to run in this Taita Taveta County is well accounted for? Please, humbly request.
Well,
Thank you.
As far as unaccounted water is concerned, this unaccounted water that's due to spilling of water, leaks, and issue of like bursts, and even I'm made to understand that some tanks are told that they are leaking, and sometimes we have illegal connections. And the thing I said about this unaccounted water is people should understand that this is our resource, so that when you see a burst, then you should be able to report to TAVEVO. 2 years ago, I reported about a pipe that was leaking outside my place. But when the technical manager came, it was as if he was community policing, asking me, at what time do you see this water spilling, instead of rectifying the situation. So we shall do a community participation whereby people know that this is their resource, and if they see a problem with it, then they should be able to repair. And in cases where tanks, pipes are too old, then we should be able to rehabilitate those. And there are actually some customers whom up to now they are using the PVC pipes, that is polyvinyl chloride, the old black types. I actually shall encourage them to buy the PPR ones, the green ones, because those ones are more lasting. So that is what I will do.
Okay, thank you, Bwana Reuben. I think now we are almost now ending the vetting process. Yeah, so maybe before we let you go, do you have any final words to this?
Well, I say thanks for the engagement.
Okay.
Yes. And thank you for accepting me, or the cordial relationship that we've had in this exercise.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wish you the best.
Thank you.